Hi everyone and welcome to today's webinar. My name's Kiara Simmons-Wood and I am the Events Planning and Marketing Coordinator at Charity Digital. I'm going to be your host for today's session and would like to give you all a very warm welcome. So today's session is on how to protect your charity online and will be delivered by Roseanne, a National Cybersecurity Centre representative. And the session will cover some quick and easy checks for charities that can help them make their charity less appealing to cybercriminals going forward. Today's session is also sponsored by the National Cybersecurity Centre, or going forward, I'm going to refer to them as the NCSC. So the NCSC provides advice and support to help the public and organisations prevent and mitigate cybersecurity threats. You can find lots of charity-specific tips and resources on how to look after your cybersecurity on the NCSC website, as well as more information on the free cybersecurity tools that we'll be taking you through today. Now, just before handing over to the NCSC, I just want to share a few house rules and pointers for today's session. So the session is currently being recorded and will be uploaded to watch on demand within a week's time. The slides and other resources will also be made available to you by the end of today, and closed captions are available, and I will shortly share in the chat how to enable these. During the webinar, please ask loads of questions in the Q&A section for our cybersecurity experts to address at the end of their presentation, and feel free to share any other comments, experiences, top tips in the chat section. And if there's a particular question that someone else has asked and you would like this question to be answered, you can also upvote questions in the Q&A section. Finally, if you encounter any sound or image issues, please just let me know in the chat and I'll do my very best to get the session back to normal as soon as I can. Without further ado, I'll hand over to the NCSC.
Thank you very much and welcome everybody to this session. As I mentioned in the chat, there is an interactive element that we'd love for everybody to take part in, and the web address is menti, MENTI.com for you to be able to join. So if you are already on menti.com and there's a QR code on the screen, if you could enter the code, which is 276-08146, that'd be great because that will enable you to take part in the interactive bits that we've got. So I'll just give a couple of seconds for people to do that, and I can see there's some people putting some thumbs up to say that they've done it, which is great. So just for anybody still typing, the code is 27608146. It will be at the top of any of the pages where we've got to interact with anyway, so you'll be able to add it if you've not joined so far, if we've got any late joiners to the meeting. So the first question that I've got today, and hopefully this will come up on your devices, is where are you joining from? So if you could put a little, you should have a pin, you should be able to put it on the map wherever you're located, just to give us an idea of where people are in the country. Oh, I can see we've got somebody up near Edinburgh, someone down in Cornwall, somebody in Wales as well, which is really great. Nobody in Northern Ireland, but we've got quite a few spread throughout the UK, which is really good. So thank you everybody for taking part in that one. That's brilliant. So I'm going to show you a couple of tools today that will hopefully help you take the first steps on your cybersecurity journey for yourself as an individual, but also yourself as an organisation and charity. So I just wanted to kick off with kind of telling you what is cybersecurity. Everybody knows the words, but what it actually means, sometimes people aren't sure. So cybersecurity, so cyber generally relates to computer systems, networks, including the internet, and devices in general. So that's mobile phones, tablets, computer systems. So you might use CRM on there, you might use social media, you might use Office Suite, you might have an Apple Mac laptop. So anything that's computer systems, networks, all the devices, that's what it includes. So cybersecurity's core function is to protect these devices, we all use and the services we access. So that's both online and at work. And we're trying to protect them from vulnerabilities and from being compromised. So that is any device that connects to the internet. So if you have an Alexa or a Google Dot, that includes those. Any what we call IoT, so Internet of Things devices, as well as the services you use, so your internet banking, your emails, your website, any online accounting software, and those devices as well. So it covers basically everything we do in our kind of work lives, and probably most of the stuff in our personal life as well, how we manage our own accounts. So that's why it's really important to keep these secure. A lot of the information we put in there is personal to us. It's, you know, we don't want everybody having access to it. So it's really important that we protect those. So not only is it about protecting the devices, but it's also about preventing unauthorized access to the amount of personal information we store on these devices and online. So as I said, you don't want everybody knowing your bank details, your bank account, what money you have, maybe your full address, your date of birth, where you live, all of those kinds of details. You don't want anybody knowing those. So as we said about devices and services, it's also about stopping people accessing your devices as well and those services. So on your mobile phone, you might have a passcode or face recognition, fingerprint recognition, those kinds of things. That's a level of security, cybersecurity, sorry, to stop somebody from accessing those. So as it says there at the bottom, cybersecurity is important because smartphones, computers, and internet are part of modern day life, from online banking and shopping to email and social media. We all will use something that's connected to the internet every day, most likely. You know, if it's your social media, as I said, your internet banking, it might be that you have an Alexa, or somebody told me the other day that you can have an app connected washing machine, which I think is a bit crazy, but we've all got, you know, some people have heating systems that you can control from an app as well. So all of those kinds of things. So then you might go, okay, well, I understand what cybersecurity is now. So why would my organization be at risk? Surely they're targeting bigger people, you know, bigger companies, organizations, people which have interest, or, you know, political or you know, high influence over other things and other people. But actually, regardless of the size, the nature of the business or the organization that you are from, the information you hold is valuable to a criminal. So some of the information that you post on social media or on your website, they might be able to create phishing emails from, or send you phishing emails. They could also hold you to ransom with the ransomware attack. Social media hacking, we see that a lot, that people create either spoof social media accounts. So it might be that you'll have, I don't know, Claire's Business, which is a social media business, but then you might find that there's Claire's Business One, or business with only one S in the middle. Those kinds of things. There'll be loads of different things, and they will use your photos and your captions and your comments as well. So those are sort of social media hacking, and how you can protect your accounts, and we'll get onto that shortly. But also email hacking as well. A lot of businesses unfortunately get their emails hacked, so that people get into those emails, they have a look, they send emails pretending to be that business to customers or other people, in order to act fraudulently. So even if you don't lose money directly from a cyber attack or cyber breach, a data breach, which is when your information is stolen or accessed without authorization, could cause temporary shutdown of your business whilst the breach is investigated, and damage your reputation with your customers and partners. So it might be that if information is stolen, that you end up having to go public with it, or informing people of it, and then people go, oh, actually, I don't want to, you know, give to that charity any longer. I don't want to, you know, be associated to that charity any longer. Or I'm going to put my funds elsewhere, and that could be damaging to your organization. So the next question for yourselves is, do you feel your organization prioritizes cybersecurity? So do they make sure that, you know, you have training in place and you have the things in place, you're informed about it, that kind of thing? And there's no right or wrong answer here. We're just interested to find out kind of what people do. And it looks to be like we've got almost a 50-50 split between yes and no. We've got a couple of not sures as well, which is absolutely fine. Slightly more yeses now, which is always good to hear. We always want organisations to prioritise it, but hopefully some of the tools today will help you, even if you're not the person who oversees the security element, to help you, that you can provide information to your colleagues or your family or your friends as well to help them. So hopefully we'll give you some tips to help out there. So thank you for answering that one. So the next thing we want to do is I'm going to hopefully do a live demo if everything goes okay of something called the Cyber Aware and Cyber Aware Action Plan. So it shouldn't take us too long, but I wanted to show you how quick it is that you can do it and that you can get some really key actionable steps as well. So you can either scan the QR code that's on the screen, or you can watch me and you'll get the links after this. Sophie might be able to put them in the chat as well, so that you can do this in slower pace. So I'll leave that for a couple more seconds, and then I will stop the presentation and I'll share the other screen for you so that you can see this one. Okay, so let me just switch the screen a second. Okay, so hopefully that's come up for you on your screen now. So this is what the website looks at. It's ncc.gov.uk/cyberaware/home. You can also Google it as well, but just make sure that the cyberware that you click on is the one that has the NCSC in the title as well, because there is another one that isn't ours. So this tool was designed for anybody to use, so it can be in your personal life, it can be in your work life. The questions are very similar. It just one says organization or business and the other just says you as an individual, but the questions will be exactly the same. So what we're going to do is we're going to click on this cyber action plan now, and I'm going to select, even though it's a small organizations, don't let that put you off. Any organization can use it. That was just who we were designing it for at the time. So I'm going to click start now as a small organization, and you'll get a series of questions come up. So we'll work through them and I'll just choose answers randomly. So this isn't a reflection of my organization at all. It is just that I'm choosing them randomly. But as you go through, do it as you would as well. So the first question is, are your work email and social media passwords different from all your other passwords? I'm going to click no, not sure. A lot of people will use the same password for work email, social media, work accounts and websites that they need to access as well. So we'll go no, not sure on that one. And then it asks us, do you use a strong password for your work email? So a strong password is difficult to guess and doesn't include any combination of personal information, popular words or number sequences, such as Liverpool 123. And some people will use their business name, organization name, name of a loved one, date of birth of a loved one, that kind of thing. So I'm going to go no, not sure again. So we'll go through that. Is two-step verification enabled on all your important work accounts? So this includes email, social media, HMRC tax accounts, and any other online accounts critical to the running of your business. And if you're not sure what 2SV is, they do have a link here, so you can watch that 30-second video to understand a bit more about what 2SV is. So again, I'm going to click no, not sure on this one. So do you have a recent backup of all your important work data? So important work data could include emails, invoices, accounts, customer data, and appointments. So you might have it saved to cloud or an external hard drive or USB stick. So I'm going to say yes. So where do you back up your important work data? So an external hard drive, a network connected hard drive, online, such as the cloud, or combination. So I'm going to click a combination of the above. Have you enabled automatic backups? I'm going to click no for this one to see what comes up. But some people will have automatic backups. Others of you will do it as you see fit. So it might be that actually you just go, the risk to my business is quite low. I'm going to back up once a month or once a week or once a fortnight or once every 3 months. But if it was automatic, it would save you having to click and run the programs as well. So if you need access to important information from your backup quickly, do you know how to do this? So it's asking you here, if you wanted to access something that's in the backup, can you restore it back down to your computer or your device? I'm going to click no, not sure on this one. Does your business have any employees apart from you? Paid, unpaid, or anyone that uses their personal devices? So I'm going to say, yeah, I've got 1 to 9 employees. What devices do I use for work? A combination of a laptop and a mobile phone. do you have the security features below enabled for all your main work devices? So it's asking me screen to auto lock after a period of inactivity, a PIN code, passcode, fingerprint, Face ID, find my device on Apple devices, or play protect for Android devices. So again, I'm going to click no, not sure. On your laptop or desktop computer, is the firewall turned on and is antivirus enabled? Just a side note on here, by default, when you have a new device, they are normally turned off. But don't panic. All you have to do is go into the settings or the control panel, search for firewall or search for antivirus, and just change the toggle to on. That is how easy it is, but a lot of times by default it is turned off, so it's worth just double checking as well after this call. So I'm turn yes to that one. Do you install the latest updates on your work devices as soon as they are available? So you can apply to your updates can apply to your device's operating system and apps on your device as well. So again, if you know, not sure. Before installing a new app or new software on your work device, do you check it's from an official source? So such as Apple Store or Google Play. I say yes, always. Okay, so then it gives you your results. So that's all the questions, and everybody will have exactly the same questions. There'll be no differences. So it gives you your result, and it says, based on your answers you provided, we identified the following actions that we strongly recommend to protect your business online. And just as a note, you can print and download a copy of this as well. So don't feel like you have to do it there, and then you can print it off and then work through the things if you have anything. So we said that we weren't sure about protecting your email and social media accounts. So it says here that changing your passwords on your work email and social media accounts is what they would suggest to do as an urgent thing. So if a criminal gets access to your work email account, they could read your personal and business emails and access private information about you, reset your passwords on your other accounts, send emails to your business or client contacts pretending to be you. So one thing that they've mentioned in there about reset your passwords on your other accounts is a lot of times if you forget a password to, say, Amazon or whatever, you would normally click forget password, and then it would send an email to your email address to enable you to then reset the password. If someone has hacked your emails, they will be able to see all the people that send you an email, all the accounts you access. So that could include Amazon, it could include like volunteers and things like that. So if they've got that, firstly, they will try the password that they use for your email address to get into those other accounts. But if not, they will sometimes click on those emails, go to the website, put in your email address because they already know the email address, and they will click forgot password because it will then normally send an email with a link to your email address, which they've already got access to then reset it, and they will change your password as well. So that's what we recommend, having a separate password for your email address and your social media accounts. And NCC recommends 3 random words, and it could be chair, house, tree. And you can still do your capital letters, your lowercase, your numbers, like special characters, those kinds of things as well. And because we know that people are going to struggle to remember all these different passwords, you can save them to your browser or to a password manager as well. So the next one we've got is to turn on 2-step verification for all your important work accounts. So it asks you to prove your identity in another way. So normally you would log in with your email address and password, and it'll be like, well, okay, I get it's you, but let me just double check. So they'll normally send you like a text message with the code in. You might have an authenticator app that will ask you for the code, or they'll email you a code as well. And this is for them to go, just want to double check it's actually you accessing this account, which is the best thing. So if somebody has hacked your social media account, but you've got 2-step verification on, sorry, not hacked, they've tried to access your social media account, but you've got 2-step verification on, even if they had your login details, so I don't know, your email address and your password, they wouldn't be able to get that code because they wouldn't necessarily have access to your emails, or they wouldn't have access to your mobile device to be able to get the code. So it would stop them from getting in, but you would be notified that someone just requested that code, and you can be like, well, that's not me, so I'm not logging in at the moment. It's just a way to give that extra level of security and can stop people, especially social media hacking, stop people from doing that. And it only takes a few minutes to set up. And if you have this option come up, there are loads of different options there. So you can set up for WhatsApp, LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, I know Twitter's X now, isn't it? But Apple ID, Gmail, Outlook, and you click on those and it will tell you on this site, this is what you need to do to put in two-step verification. And once you've done it, honestly, you won't even worry about it afterwards, because it'll just become second nature that you'll just do it every time you log in. And sometimes you can do remember device as well, so that you don't have to do the two-step verification on all your devices. It will just recognize that, you know, this IP, this device is the one that they regularly use. Nobody else has access to it. I'm happy for them to log in. So you can do things like that as well. But anything new, you can set up a two-step verification for. Then we've got a bit about protecting your business. So check your IP address for security issues. We will do that in a second. So I'm going to skip that one. Start a conversation about cybersecurity with your employees or your volunteers. So just start having a conversation with them about phishing. You know, do they have two-step verification on their accounts? And you can get them to do this tool as well. It's open to everybody, just to see what they do. And they can do it, as I said, in their volunteering or work life, as well as in their private life as well. So you've got good access to both options there. Because, you know, a lot of us years ago, we were told, you know, keep your work life and your private life separate. But actually, since COVID, a lot of us are doing hybrid. So your work life and your personal life kind of combine a little bit, because you're working in the environment you're living in. So it's really important to sort of apply these measures to both sides. We've then got a bit about backing up your data, so how to turn on automatic backups. And it's a more reliable way to ensure that you've got a recent copy of all of your documents, because if something happens, and it doesn't have to be ransomware or anything like that, it could be a fire, a theft, you know, stolen laptop that you've got to go and buy, you know, a new device for and download. You've got everything there if you do it regularly. And there's options there on how to turn on automatic backups for Mac, iPhone, iPad, Android devices, Microsoft devices as well. And those are links to those websites, so you're getting it straight from Microsoft. And then also to practice recovering information from backup, so restoring it back to your device, putting it back in the backup and stuff. So you're ready to do that. Otherwise, it's all right, great putting it in the backups, but then if you don't know how to restore it, it's not going to help you when it comes to, you know, if you have to do that. We've got a couple more. So protecting your devices. So enable the security features on all of your work devices, such as your PIN code, your password, your fingerprint, Face ID. Auto lock after a period of inactivity. What you don't want to do is unlock, say, your tablet, you've put it on the table in the office, somebody else comes along and they can access everything. You want it to have locked so that you have to put a code in or face recognition or anything like that as well. And then set up Find My Device and Play Protect, so that you can track your device if it's lost or stolen. And sometimes you can remotely wipe it as well. So if you know it's been stolen, but you've got information on there, if you've enabled Find My Device or Play Protect, you can wipe that device and reset it back to factory settings. So even if they did manage to get into it, they're not going to have access to anything. It will have all been gone. And again, there's options on how you can do those on other devices as well. And then lastly, install the latest updates on all your work devices. It's really important, and we can't stress enough about these updates. So I like to use the analogy that if you cut yourself, your body's vulnerable to infection, say. So what you might do is you might put a plaster on it to stop that. Well, the same happens with your devices in theory. So over time, devices can get a vulnerability like the cut. These vulnerabilities are open to people taking a look, seeing what is on your system, cyber criminals getting in, just having a look and trying to see what's available to them. And that's what we call the vulnerability. So the vulnerability is similar. In order to protect this vulnerability, so like the plaster, what you do is you'll do your updates. So all the updates we call them patches. They include fixes for these vulnerabilities, so like the plasters, and they will protect your device. The longer you wait between doing your updates when they're sent down, cybercriminals will know these vulnerabilities. They know them probably within a couple of weeks of them happening or them becoming apparent. So they will start exploiting them. If you then see the update and you go, oh, I haven't got time for that now, I'll delay it a couple of weeks, I'm on leave, so I'll do it when I come back. You've just left yourself open for 2 weeks when people are trying to find these devices that have this vulnerability that they can access and extort the information from. So you're better off doing it. And we know that they come down at the most awkward times, and you're in the middle of a Zoom meeting or you're doing a webinar or something like that. Microsoft tend to do it on a Tuesday. So, if you go, okay, I can't do it now, do it at the end of the day when you log off. Just set it to run at the end of the day. That way, you're only leaving it an hour, a couple of hours before. You're not leaving it weeks or days to wait. So that's one thing about install the latest updates. And if you want, do it automatically. A lot of devices these days, you can set automatic updates in the settings. It will do it itself, or you can delay it until if you're in the middle of something to do it. So that is what the Cyber Action Plan is. As I said, at the top, you've got print and download. Some of you will have no actions. Some of you will have some actions. Some of you will have loads. The urgent ones are the most important. They will do in orange at the top and mark them as urgent. The others, they will just do it as blue. As you could do this, but it will give you something to work on. And don't feel you have to do everything there and then. Great if you can, but if you go, well, I've got 5 minutes, what can I do? Okay, I'll set up two-step verification on my Instagram account, and then it's done. Those are the things we want to use. Okay, so I'm going to stop sharing again, and I'll go back to the presentation, and then there's another question for yourselves. So next question is, have and would you find this tool easy to use? So if you've done it as I was doing it, would you find it easy to use? If you haven't, do you think you'd find it easy to use? It's great that everybody's putting yes so far. I think sometimes doing a demo, it really helps you understand, because we as the National Cybersecurity Centre go, yeah, it's quick and easy to do. But you might turn around and go, well, your technical staff, you're going to find it quick and easy, but I might not. But actually showing you how to do it, and you can see there the questions and how quick we went through that. Actually, it is quick and easy to do. So that's really great. It's great to see so many people putting yes there. So the next question is, okay, so you would find it quick and easy to do, or you would recommend it. So would you recommend this tool to your colleagues, friends, or family? You can click multiples as well. I forgot to put an option for all on here, so you can click multiples. That's really great to see. Just give it a couple more seconds just for anybody to submit theirs. Okay, that's great. Thanks everybody for filling that in. It's great to see that we've got a mixture of friends, family, and colleagues as well. Really excellent. So I'm going to go to the next slide. So the next one we've got is the tool that I skipped past in the cyber aware plan. So this is check your cybersecurity. So I've put the link on the screen. There's also a QR code. Again, you can go through it as I'm going through it, or you can watch and then do it another time. And again, the link will be in the chat for you or sent afterwards, so you can access this. And this time we've got email check, IP address and website, and web browser as well. So I'll just give that a couple of seconds for people to access that and see what is, get the website up, and then I will change the screen over as well. Just give it a little while because the web address is a little bit longer. Okay, so let me just stop sharing that one a minute, and I will share the other screen, this one. There we go. So hopefully that's come up for you. So the first one we're going to do is the latest new tool. Okay, so we're going to do email check to start with. So if you click start now, it gives you a little bit about what they're looking for. So we're going to check for email anti-spoofing, so preventing cybercriminals sending emails pretending to be you, which is known as spoofing, and email privacy, so making it harder for cybercriminals to intercept and read your emails that are in transit. So how does it work? The tool runs a quick check in seconds. All you need to do is type in your domain name and your results will be ready to view. So let's give it a go. So we click continue, enter domain. So I am going to do, let's do NCSC because this shouldn't be anything. So ncc.gov.uk, but you can put in whatever you want. So the domain is the bit after the @ sign of your email address. So let's check now. See what comes up. Oh, no issues found. Phew, That's lucky. I didn't want anything to come up there. So it tells me no issues were found, and these are the things we checked for. So we checked for DMARC and SPF and anti-spoofing, and email privacy, TLS, MTA, STS. So you might look at this and go, oh my goodness, these words mean nothing to me. What is this? I don't even know what it's checking. It does try and explain it further below. So it explains to you what is DMARC, what does it do? And yes, this is a little bit more technical than the cyberware, but there are loads of videos on YouTube that can explain it, which are really good as well. And it will tell you your test results. So it will say this is what we tested. So yes, we've got a DMARC policy. The policy is to reject. This indicates to receivers that email which doesn't pass the DMARC check should be discarded, so reject them. And it talks about a few other things as well. And again, with SPF, tells you a little bit about what it is, what your results are. So DKIM is not checked, so you have to run that one separately. So you have to send an email from an email address that contains @ncc.gov.uk, but this would be at whatever your organisation is, to this email address here, and you put the code in the subject email, and it will it will look at it and it will give you the result as well. Okay, it'll be completely deleted from the systems within 7 days. Okay, so it'll be visible for 7 days and it'll be deleted. And we get into email privacy, so TLS. So by default, 99% of all emails will have TLS. It's an encryption layer. So if you're using Outlook, Microsoft, any of those kind of email providers, as I said, 99% should have TLS enabled. Okay, so ideally you want TLS 1.2 or higher. That's what's recommended. But be good to see. And it will test it for you, so it'll tell, yeah, it's valid on different things. And then privacy of emails to the domain is protected from downgrade attacks. So again, it will tell you what it is, and you can test it. And then you should be able to check a different one as well. So again, you can print and download this. You can share the results. You can send it to somebody. So you could send it to, if you have an IT person or an outsourced IT, you can go, right, I've done this thing from the NCC. These are the results. I've got an issue come up. You know, please deal with it. But you can check another domain as well. bbc.co.uk. Let's check that one. And one issue was found. So this one is the DMARC policy. So it just shows, oh, I was going to put bb.co.uk. Anyway, random one, I don't even know who they are, but it's checking some of them. So you can see that some of them will come up with issues. You may find that you've got quite a few issues on there. Please don't panic. If, like this one's got 2 here. If you do have issues and you can't deal with it, whatever, please just email in. If you've had a look and you just think no, and you've got nobody to tell you, just email in and we will try and help you on those. We have had somebody come in that had a very random one that it did take us a little bit of a while to work through, but we managed to sort it with them. If you fix the issue and run the service again, so run the test again, it won't update for 28 days due to how we get the information. So you'll have to leave 28 days to check that it's fine. But if you've done the steps that it suggests, you will be covered. It is just that the system needs some time to update. So that is check your cybersecurity, the email check. So at the bottom, it asks you, do you want to check your web browser? So let's check this one. So it's just checking that is my web browser up to date. So am I using the latest version of this? And is it safe to do so? So let's click continue. So I'm saying, so it's picked up that I'm currently using Microsoft Edge, and that's the version number. Check this browser. You can check a different browser as well. So for some of you, if you're using Apple devices, it might be Safari. You might be using Chrome, Firefox, those kinds of things. So it will check for you. So we'll just click on check now. No vulnerabilities found. Your web browser is up to date. And it just tells you that. And that's excellent. If it's not, normally you can just go to settings and it will do the update for you. But it's important that you do that. And you can set a reminder to remind you every 28 days just to go in and double check these things. And you can unsubscribe at any time. Okay. So lastly, let's check the IP address and website. So what is an IP address? And it tells you a bit of information there about your IP address. There's a video there that will show you as well what the IP address is. So is it safe to provide my IP address? The answer is yes. So we continuously test the service to ensure that it's safe for you to use. We do not need you to download any software to your device to check the security of your IP address. It's what is publicly available if somebody wanted to find your IP address. With this tool, although I've just put in a random email address, a domain before, there is a limit. I think it only lets you check 5 an hour. So that people might go, oh, well, hold on a minute, cyber criminals could run loads of different checks. They can't. They can do it one by one. The computer will pick up, or the system will pick up, if somebody is mass doing it. So a lot of cyber criminals will use computer-generated ones. So it will just check. It will send thousands a minute to try and do. The system won't let it. It will block, because it will be like, you're not a person checking, you are some computer-generated thing that you're trying to find vulnerabilities. So no, we're not going to allow you to do that. And that's the same with these IP addresses as well. So please do not panic. They won't be able to do this. So I'm going to check a different IP address. So the IP address I'm going to check is one that I've been given. So hopefully it will come up, and it should show us all of the ones that you can get. And then I'm going to put in the domain as well. So all.basic check. And then we just click check now. So it'll run the quick check. And because I said I put in the one that we have as a demo that shows all the vulnerabilities, it has found 14. You will not have 14. I can assure you of that. If you do, contact us. There's probably something happened. So the first one is FTP. You don't necessarily need to know what these things mean. Again, it will tell you what to do if you don't do it and how to upgrade it as well. So you will have these things, as you will have file transfer protocol, but you'll need to just update it. It'll be already on your computer. It's not like you've got to go and find it or download it or anything like that. It will already on your computer. So there's various different vulnerabilities here. A lot of these will be relating to the IP address, because I put in one that needed all of them. If I go back and show you a different one, so this one will just pick up a random selection of the issues, and then you'll see what I mean. That would show everything. So this one is random, it's 3, which is what you may have as well. And it just tells you what it was, why it's an issue, what you can do about it. This one, you might need somebody who's got a bit more technical knowledge to go through this. If you outsource your IT, I would suggest just sending it to them for them to kind of fix if there are any issues shown. If not, but please don't look at this and go, I don't know what any of these mean. Personally, I don't know what quite a few of these mean, but there's guidance on it, on how to do it. So for this one example, simple network managed protocol exposed to the internet, I'll be like, right, okay, so what does that mean? So it gives me a little bit of information. Then it says read our guidance, so how to choose, configure, and using VPN. Okay, well, I can look at that and see what I can do. And there's some other reading as well if I want to, or I'll just send it to an outsourced IT provider, or internal if you have an internal IT security team. And then it says, good news, no other vulnerabilities were found. So it says they've checked for database servers, remote access methods, file sharing, and administrative interfaces as well. So you can set up an email alert to check it every 28 days for once a month, and set the reminder as well. So that one is a little bit more complicated. As a starting point, I'll probably do your email address first, and then your web browser, and then probably this one last. As I said, if you've got any vulnerabilities, you can print, download, share this one as well. Send the page to somebody else if you're not a technical staff in the IT space. So I'm just going to stop sharing that one and go back to the other screen that we've got. There we go. So hopefully that's come up for you again. So how would you find this tool easy to use? So I haven't put a kind of a middle range in here. So yes, no, not sure. As I said, most of them, like, I don't think any of you would have an issue with the email check or the web browser check. I think it would just be the last one. But it works that you're not likely to find anything on the last one. It's just that we have to put them in there in case something comes up. But the majority of you probably won't have any issues there, or might have one or two. So I'll just give it a couple of seconds, and that's fine. Some people put not sure, which is quite understandable. But quite a few of you have put yes. Okay. So again, the question is, would you recommend this tool to colleagues, friends, or family? So you wouldn't mind just answering that one for me. And that's brilliant. So a good range, and you'll receive links to these as well, so you've got them for your records. Okay. So that is the end of the two tools. That's the two tools we're going to show you today. And I'm sure some of you will go away and use them and probably email to be like, I'm not sure what this means, or I don't know what that means, or can you help me with this? We have lots of resources available on our website, specifically on every topic you could imagine. If you go on there and you can't find it, just email inquiries@ncsc.gov.uk and they should be able to find it for you, or say to you another resource that would be more suitable. So one of the things I wanted to mention today is we do have a subscription centre. So we have a really great newsletter specifically for smaller organisations. So we're not talking your big technical IT companies or anything like that. These are for anybody that's a small organisation. So a charity, a sole trader, a micro business, a small business. We send it out monthly. It goes out at the beginning of each month, and it just tells you what is the latest from the NCC that you need to know that month. So we put in stats from Action Fraud. So it might be that there's a spike in business email compromise. So we'll put out some little guidance on that in language that you are going to understand that isn't technical. We also might put in things about new guidance we've got, new resources. We're creating loads all the time. We've got a toolkit coming up, probably beginning of next year that will come out. We've got a gamification happening. We've got some videos and things like that as well. Anything new we will put in this newsletter, or any events that we think are relevant for you. We're trying to start our digital lofts, which are our own run webinars. Again, so they will be probably every other month, but they will go out through the newsletter as well to join. So you can scan the QR code and sign up. We then also have weekly threat reports. These will come out from the NCSC, but they will be a bit more technical. But you could, if you're just curious, have a look at them, see what's coming out as well. NCSC advisory. So if there's anything that we need to get a message out quickly, or we've noticed vulnerability or anything like that that we want to make people aware of, that come out for the NCSC advisories. Information about Cyber UK. It will be in May next year in Birmingham. It's our big cyber event run by the NCSC, and there'll be sessions for small organisations as well. Particularly it's worth looking at that. And then, as I mentioned, our digital lofts as well. So you can come along to our own webinars on various different topics that we'll have covered. Okay. And then, most importantly, if you are unfortunate enough to suffer from a cyber incident or from fraud, you need to really report it. So if you are in England, Northern Ireland, Wales, Channel Islands, you will report to Action Fraud online. So you can do it online on the website. It's a form to fill out, or by phone, you can ring into them. If you are in Scotland, it is Police Scotland 101 call centre. They've just been a little bit different from us, just to make it a little bit more confusing when we're trying to tell people where to report it to. So Scotland is the Police 101, everywhere else it's Action Fraud. And unless people report these cybercrimes, we can't get a true picture of what is happening out there. We get some of the reports through, but we don't see all of them, especially the ones for small organizations. So we can't help you or give advice unless we know what's happening out there. So really important to report it. Even if you don't think, oh, I don't think I should report this, please do. So any cyber incident, any cyber breach, or any form of fraud as well needs to be reported there. If you're currently suffering, so it's a live attack, you can ring the 24/7 number as well. So they'll be able to be there, help you understand it. So report a scam email. If you get any of those emails, which I'm sure you do because I still get them, those phishing emails, all you need to do is forward it to report@phishing.gov.uk. We have a takedown service that we investigate and we remove the URLs and the domains that are sending those email addresses. But again, we can't do that unless people tell us. So please send there. And again, there's been a bit of a spike in scam text messages. So you can forward them to 7726 and your telephone provider will look at them and try and remove the numbers as well from there. Okay. And then the last slide is just showing you everything that we've got. So we've got cyberware that we've done, we've got a small business guide, or we've also got a small charities guide, we've got online training, so e-learning, we've got exercising on various different topics, how to respond and recovery from an incident, if you're looking at certification schemes, cyber essentials, bits on supply chains, bits on, again, reporting phishing, our COVID-19 guidance, which has actually changed its name slightly now to hybrid working, the videos that I spoke about, the 30 videos, our newsletter, and then some SME cards as well. So there's all of these. This is just a snippet of all the resources available, but they can be available on our website. And I'll make sure to send this in to the organisers as well so they can share it with you. But just go to the NCSC website, it's in the bottom right hand corner, search for any of these and they should come up as well. But if you can't find it, as I said, just email in inquiries and they'll be able to find it for you. So lastly, oh, and there's my spelling mistake. Do you feel confident to use the tools, it should be, discussed today in your personal life, in your home life, both or neither of them? If you wouldn't mind just answering that. Great to see that some people are selecting home life as well. That's really good. And personal life. Oh, I should say personal life or work life, actually. But there you go. I've made loads of mistakes on this slide. I do apologise. If you say both, I'll take it that you mean your work life and your personal life. Brilliant. Thank you for that. And again, apologies for the issues on there. So the last question I wanted to ask you is, please can you give the session a rating out of 5 and feel free to add any comments. You don't have to. So you should have an option of just put like somebody's put 4, brilliant, and just add any comments, positive, negative, in between, I don't mind. It's really great for us to, if there's anything that you think needs to be improved, you know, it helps us to, you know, give these presentations better in the future. So really good to see those, very informative, great session, really helpful, very helpful. Looking forward to trying this. Excellent. Really great to see those comments coming in. Great that some people are saying that they're going to share them and how they do it as well. So just give a couple more seconds for people to put those. I think you can still add things afterwards as well, so they'll still come through to us. Makes cybersecurity not seem scary. That's a really good point. It is scary. A lot of people go, oh my goodness, it's not me, it's not technical, I can't do it. There is so much that you can do, and the bonus of these tools is they are free, they are available to everybody, and you can't really go wrong on them. So it's a bonus as well, but yeah, it's a good way to start. So that's brilliant. Thank you everybody for your comments and things there. It's really great to see. So again, this is just the last question, and it's only optional. So if you would like to be added to the small organisations newsletter, please complete the form. So the form will ask for your name, your email address, and your organisation that you're from, just so that we can easily upload you onto the subscription centre. The next one will go out at the beginning of October. I think it's about the 4th of October it's due to go out. And next month is Cybersecurity Awareness Month. So there'll be lots in there for all sorts. So you as an individual, you as a business or charity, large organisations, going to be lots on there. And they're going to have quite a lot on social media as well for this charity, for this Cybersecurity Awareness Month as well. So we'll say, but again, you'll have the links after this, so it won't be an issue. That is the end of my presentation. So thank you very much. I think we are moving on to Q&A now, if there are any questions.
Yeah, that was great. Thank you. I found it really interesting. And I mean, from the feedback, it looks like everyone else did too. So we've had loads of questions come in already on the Q&A section. So people can carry on to add questions if you'd like to, or if not, upvote existing questions, as I will be addressing these with the most upvoted first. So the first question from Scott with 5 upvotes. Scott asked, is it safe to save your passwords to a browser such as Chrome or Edge?
So yes, it is. There is advice on the NCSC website about using password managers and saving passwords online. But ultimately, yes, it is. They have gone through rigorous testing to be able to offer that facility. But again, do your own research. If you're using Chrome or Edge, Google have definitely done loads of research into it. Microsoft Edge, again, they've done loads of research into it, making testing everything. So yes, it is. But password managers, again, look at the reviews, look at what's on offer. The NCSC does have some advice on its website as well of what to look for and what not to look for. And the other thing is to get, ask colleagues, ask other businesses, ask other organizations, what they've used as well, because sometimes word of mouth is better to get recommendations for things as well.
That's great, thank you. You actually addressed the second question too, from Angelina, asking how do we know what password manager is safe, as there are so many? And I can see that another NCSC representative has also added in a link to the chat on advice on password managers, if everyone want to check out. So the next question is from an anonymous attendee asking, how do you protect a charity's social media accounts when several employees need access and need to share passwords to the accounts?
Just thinking about that one. That's a difficult one, because in an ideal world, you'd have one person access it so that they could have the 2SV things. It might be that you can set up the 2SV to a shared mailbox. So it might be that the actual email address used to log into those social media accounts is a shared email, so a shared mailbox. So then hopefully the people could have access to it. But again, I would restrict that mailbox to only the people that need to have access to it. I don't know whether Sophie has any other comments to add in there.
Hi there, can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Fab. Yeah, so I had a couple of points just to add on this. I think, especially in small charities, it's very difficult to kind of, especially when you're often relying on volunteers as well, it's very difficult to kind of restrict access to social media to just one person with one password. So typically the NCSC would discourage people from sharing passwords wherever possible. That's our kind of standard when it comes to sharing passwords. However, if that's not possible or not possible currently, I think cybersecurity should definitely be seen as a layering process. So what else can you do so that if you can't think of a way of having one password, what else can you do? So in your policy, are you monitoring who has got access to those social media accounts? If your staff turn over, if people leave the organization, are you making sure that access is deactivated, and also use kind of least privilege access? So the people that have got access to the social media accounts, can they do everything, or do they only need to be able to do certain things on that social media platform? So have a look on our website. There's loads of other information on there that can just add those layers of security, so that even if you can't achieve one user, one password, one account, there's other things you can do to protect yourselves in the meantime.
That's great, thank you both. The next question is also from an anonymous attendee asking, is there a way to scan or check a device to confirm whether it has been hacked or had malware added that you are unaware of? Or do you need to wait to see if you notice that one of your accounts has been hacked?
Sorry, I was on mute for that one. That is really difficult. We would absolutely love to be able to instantly see if somebody has access to a device or an account. The only thing we can suggest is that the measures we've spoken about today will help you protect against somebody getting into those devices that you're unaware of. So unfortunately, I don't have yes, this is what you can do answer. But it is, unfortunately, sometimes it is just a wait and see. But if you follow all the steps the NCSC says, the steps that we've spoken about today, you are making it really hard for somebody to do that. That's the only advice I can really offer on that one. Apologies.
Thank you. The next question is, so I've been told that cybersecurity and online safety are not the same. What's the difference between them?
So I don't have the exact to hand, but cybersecurity is about your accounts, your devices and things that we've mentioned earlier. Online safety is more about what you put online and who can access it. So some people, and I use this regularly, will put pictures up of their children on their first day of school, and it will show either the child at the house or with the school uniform on with the logo on, or it will show them the child at the school gates with the school sign in the background. Like, to me, you have just, and normally people put their name like, oh, so and so's Sam's first day at school or whatever. To me, you've just told anybody what your child's name is and where they go to school and what year they're in, so they can guess the age. So anybody who wants to act in a, undesirable manner could go to that school and say, yeah, so and so's told me that I need to pick up the child today, we've got a dentist appointment or something. That is more kind of the online safety bit, is thinking, to me, that's what it is, thinking about what you put online and how it can be used. So that is one example, but the others could be the About Us page of your website. A lot of people put the About Us page and they put loads of on there. This is where they went to school, this is where they grew up, they had 3 cats, they holiday here every year. Again, you've given somebody quite a lot of information there about it. Try and keep it to a minimum. And you will now look at social media accounts of friends and stuff, and you'll go, oh my goodness, why have they put all that up there? But really just review it on a need to know basis, or change your privacy settings to make it as secure as possible. Because you don't want pictures of children or anything like that getting into the wrong hands. So that's the kind of difference, is the safety is the protection element of you as a person or individuals. This is how I understand it. The definition might be slightly different, but this is how I understand it. It's protection of you, your personal information, your family, that kind of thing. Whereas cybersecurity is actually more the devices, the services that you are using, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that was really helpful. Thank you. I know that I recently went over all of my social media and made sure that I changed all my settings after attending one of the NCSC webinars. So thank you for that. The next question is from Heather asking, can cybersecurity be linked with the local police for extra safety?
So the local police, yes. What you would want to look at is something called the Regional Organised Crime Unit. So these are ROCU. They are the people that look after, have a section on cybersecurity. I think they're called protect officers. So they are the ones that would be referred to with anything to do with cybersecurity that you report into. And they regularly check out their website stuff. They regularly have advice, they do webinars, they come to organisations to help out. They do loads of really good stuff to help with cybersecurity.
Great, thank you. Now we've had another anonymous question come in asking, how trustworthy are apps for storage and changing of passwords? For example, 1Password or LastPass?
Do you want me to take this one, Rosa?
Yeah, you can. Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, cool. So typically we say that the kind of MCSC line on this is that password managers are generally secure. Nothing can ever be, 100% secure, but in relation to the other ways of storing your password on a post-it note on your laptop, for example, password managers are possibly going to be safer. Google Chrome, storing it in your browser, it is typically considered safer, especially when you've got so many to juggle. There's some guidance on our website that I'll put in the chat for this one, but we just encourage people to do their research before they decide on a password manager. That's probably the golden takeaway, is to do your research before you choose one.
Great, thank you for that, Sophie. Now the next question is from Rachel asking, I have been tasked with creating a cybersecurity policy for our charity. I couldn't find any template out there, so have started drafting our own, but are there any templates out there to use?
I'm not aware of any. It is something we're looking into. We want to be able to give people templates. The issue that we have with doing so is that every organisation is different. So the different requirements for them to have in. Sophie, I don't know if you're aware of any at all.
So I don't necessarily think we've got templates as such, but what I would recommend is there's so much guidance on different aspects of cybersecurity on a website. So I think it's important that as you're going through your policy, you're aligning that policy and the elements of it with the current NCSC guidance. The other thing I would recommend is checking out our board toolkit, because that means that as you're progressing that policy and it's getting raised through your senior management and your board of trustees, those senior leaders, although they're not cybersecurity or IT experts, can be empowered to ask the right questions of your team. So I think kind of doing it from a top-down approach as well would be a key thing to do.
Great, thank you. And as we're running out of time, I'm going to answer one last question, which has been upvoted a few times from an anonymous attendee asking, can anyone recommend IT companies that can assist with all cyber and IT security for outsourcing for small teams?
Hi, yeah, so we have recently launched something called Cyber Advisor. So search that on the NCSC website, will come up. It's a scheme that we've got where we've got consultants and businesses that have been through rigorous testing. They have to take an exam to become a cyber advisor, but they are specifically designed to help small organizations deal with cybersecurity, IT security, that kind of thing as well, that be able to help. Also on our website, we have a section on services and products. If you go in there, there may be some IT companies that have been recommended on there. Again, they have gone through the rigorous testing of the NCSC to be able to use our logo and to be part of that on our website as well. So have a look there. We don't, other than that, we don't recommend specific IT companies. As a government organisation, we have to really remain impartial. But again, it might be something that the Protect Network could help with as well in your local area.
That's great. Thank you so much, both. Now, unfortunately, that's all we have time for today. So thank you once again to the NCSC for both speaking and sponsoring this session. If you could all share your feedback with us, that would be fantastic. I have pasted a link in the chat, and you'll also receive a prompt just after you leave this page, as well as in the slides and resources email, which will be sent out later today. If there are any questions you still have, please feel free to reach out to the NCSC they have a general inquiries page. And finally, as usual, our next webinar is in 2 weeks' time on how to measure and report charitable impact. I will be pasting the link in the chat, but please feel free to explore all of our upcoming webinars at charitydigital.org.uk/webinars. Thank you all once again, and bye for now.